pirate who murdered her own people by the millions. The past always catches up with you.
I'm Zach from Screen Rant, and we're here with the cast, the boss of Star Trek Section 31. Congratulations.
Thanks for having us.
Sure.
Who's
so,
the boss?
first things first. Olatunde.
No, sorry. Yeah, of course. Sorry.
I mean, what he says goes.
We call him boss himself.
Yeah. Well, first off, tell me about, introduce yourselves and tell me your characters. Tell me a little bit about what we can expect from your guys in the film.
Well, speaking of guys, we gotta go ladies first.
I guess that's me. Hi, I'm Kacey Rohl, and I play Rachel Garrett, who has existed before. Big boots. I love it. She's amazing. She's a Starfleet, and she bombs into this wild world that is unlike anything she's ever experienced, and she goes on a real journey.
Yes, she does.
That's my pitch. Yeah? Did I pass? Okay, thank you.
I play Alak Sahar, trying to figure out my issues on screen. Not as Omari, but as Alak Sahar. As Olatunde, the big boss, said from the gate, this man has been around for long enough to not only have gained experiential wisdom, but also he has a lot of pain from his past. So he's trying to figure that out. And part of the healing, reckoning, redemptive movement, if you will, that he's going through is he's created this agenting group full of a motley crew of folks, individuals who are policing all the galaxies. And we do it in a rogue way. And then we bump into Michelle Yeoh's character of Georgia Hope. She is out there in space somewhere. That's why you guys don't see her on the couch right now. She's in space. And to my left is Kacey, as she said, big boots. Kacey plays the character who is there for policing me. But yeah, and it takes me to Rob, who plays he keeps saying left hand, but I think he's my left and my right hand. He's the start, the inception of this group of which I created. The first pick or first selection was Rob's character of Zeph.
I mean, that sums me up pretty accurately. Yeah, I am the most talented member of the crew, the strongest,
The most humble.
the dumbest, the hungriest. Yeah, I play Zeph, a half man in a bodysuit, left hand, right hand of Alak Sahar that will run through, smash through, and keeps Rachel Garrett in line. As best as he can. He fails horribly.
Try again.
Yeah, sorry.
Rob, we've talked about your character's particular cybernetic enhancements. Is he human? Can you say if he's any kind of, cyborg?
Am I allowed to go off here, or am I allowed to answer?
Depends on what you say.
Okay.
Good luck.
Okay. If Kurtzman's watching, oh my God.
Cut the cameras.
Yeah, no, he's 100% a human. Craig Sweeney and I came up with a very detailed, long backstory of him. It is a cybernetic suit that he is wearing, filled with enhancements that he's created and added over the years to help increase his mobility due to injuries incurred by his own actions.
Craig Sweeney, our brilliant writer.
Yes,
that is
Craig
correct.
Sweeney.
Wow.
Yes.
Olatunde, you're returning from having worked on Star Trek Discovery, a show that has planted so many seeds that we've seen grow into their own projects. Tell me a little bit about nurturing this sapling into a film.
Yeah, well, Discovery does have its hands in a few different places, and about 5 years ago, just over 5 years ago, we started this journey as a TV show, and I got invited to join by Alex Kurtzman and Paramount Plus. And we kept trying to mount it, and it kept falling apart, and it took a lot of twists and turns. And all along the way, Michelle Yeoh stood with it. Then we ended up in this form as a movie. And it was the best version of all the different forms. And Craig Sweeney wrote these unbelievable characters, and because of that moment in time, we were able to cast this unbelievable cast. If not for Michelle really just being the steward all the way through each iteration, we wouldn't be here right now. And this has definitely been very special to me because it is a 2-hour movie, beginning to end. It's been great getting to know the cast, some you see here, some who aren't here, that hopefully will touch you and touch the audience as emotional ways they touched me with what they did.
I don't want to put the cart in front of the horse, as it were, or whatever the saying is. But do you see this as the first in a series of movies? Something of a pilot for a series? Or is this a one-off story, a Star Trek story?
You gotta wait for it. Cameras. Let me get out of the way.
This is a very uncomfortable question. No.
Just curious.
The wonderful thing about what Craig did with this script, and the wonderful thing about what Alex does with this iteration of Star Trek that he's shepherded through, is each series and now this movie is so unbelievably layered. With character, with the world. And so if the audience loves it as much as we love it, and I'm really excited for them to see it, there is a wonderful potential to go on.
Potential's a good word.
Thank you so much.
Good word.
There's a million stories that could be birthed from Section 31. So we hope you love it.
I'm excited to see it.
He's crying.
So I grew up watching the original series with my dad. What is your background history with Star Trek? Were you fans? Have you not seen it yet?
Rob, you want to start that one off?
We'll just throw it out.
I'll give you 2 mics.
Sure, yeah. So Star Trek is like the big thing in my life. And it has been since I was a little kid. I grew up on the original series movies, not the original series. My mother was a huge Trek fan. And so I grew up on all of that and was obsessed with it. And TNG kind of became a formative moral guide for my life of how to be a good human being. It was all Next Generations. And then Star Trek has just continued to be such a... There's never been a time in my life where I'm not watching Star Trek, and then when I finish and I go back to the beginning and start again and go through it, it's my comfort show. I have the Starship hum, thanks to Kacey who taught me about that existed, now is like my comfort thing for going to sleep, is the Starship hum.
Very good, highly recommend.
It's my thing, and then I get to be a part of that world now, and it's, it's the best day every day.
Who's next?
I stated it today, and I'll say it again. It was a very interesting thing for me to find the altruism within our industry on this job. And what I mean by that is so many dreams have been made. When you think about a Bahamian kid named Sidney Poitier, who's working fields with his family, he's not supposed to become, on paper, Sidney Poitier, rest in peace. And we've all had our own respective levels of that. We're all minorities in our own way. And I could say that as a Black American man. To my left is a woman, still a minority. Behind me is this director who has colored me, and look what Tunde's become to the steering of the ship, pun intended or perhaps not. But it's been an amazing thing to be next to Rob and watch a little boy dream of being on Star Trek and then being on the first set with him, when on the first set for himself, that dream is becoming a reality. That was crazy for me. I was more of a Star Wars guy, but I was absolutely a Star Trek kid. There's no way to not be. You're raised in the 80s, I was born in the 70s, there's no way to get past it. I knew that the first interracial kiss, or first moment where people aren't supposed to do what they did, was done on Star Trek. And so it was an interesting experience for me because I knew enough about it. But man, was Rob the greatest of Cliff Notes, because he taught me every single thing I needed to know and then some, and I'm still learning even more. But shout outs to Lucy and Desi Arnaz and Roddenberry and just all the fragmented pieces that make the amalgamation of the foundation which we now sit upon. So if TNG is acronym for the next generation, Olatunde and Alex Kurtzman wanted me to be a part of a new acronym, which is TNG, the new generation, and bringing, with it young people who maybe didn't rock out with Star Trek as much. Super honored to kind of bring them along and for a bunch of people to become Trekkers. Pretty amazing.
Kind of almost building upon that, on screen, can you tell me a little bit about your chemistry with Rob and about the dynamic that you have? Is it friendly? Is it boss and assistant?
Yeah, I think that's a really good question. I tend to go. I think just the genesis of everything in life is getting to know the people who are cast. Tony made a great point. Cast a great cast, but the people. They matter so much, and maybe me coming from sports, the big thing for me was dinners immediately. Tony said it was abnormal that a cast got so close, but dinners were so necessary, and Michelle is Michelle. Super legendary, but also super busy because she's a legend. So wherever I could in the first 2 weeks, it was Kacey, Umberly, Rob, Sam, Augusto, Tunde when you can join us, James, Miku even, who's the younger, cohort of ours. My whole thing was get together to learn everybody. I learned Rob as a person enough to then be able to inform a bit more about what Zeph on screen along with Alok on screen would be. So we loved each other before we started day one. We kind of loved what each other's story was. I knew about his Hollywood story up to that point. He knew about my Hollywood story up to that point. So we kind of built from there. There was no contentious moments. But it was absolutely, boss hired me to boss. So there's no way that I'm not bossing Zeph, but I also found that you don't necessarily have to do that when somebody like Rob wants discipline, but let's not get it twisted. You're not about to control him. And so I tried to make it where Alok doesn't ever come across as he's controlling Zeph, but Zeph almost knows how to finish the thoughts and or the sentences of Alok before he even has to say anything. I think that's what we built upon.
When it comes to combat, I feel like he can be deployed.
Yes.
As opposed to ordered.
That's right.
Olatunde, tell me, Star Trek, this new generation, I love the way you said that, has such a variety of tones. I mean, we just talked to Lower Decks crew, and that is a hilarious show. Discovery has its own vibe. Strange New Worlds, of course. Tell me, tonally, where does this show fall in the greater, comedy, rollicking, rogue, pirate, vigilante adventure? Where is this show in Star Trek?
Yeah, well, that's the amazing thing about what Alex has built out in this iteration of Star Trek is it does have all of these unbelievable flavors and all these unbelievable colors in the rainbow for different fans to access. And, fans will have, this is my favorite, and this is my favorite, and this is my favorite. Well, if you want a wild ride that is, jaw-dropping, twists and turns, blow your socks off characters that are doing things that maybe they shouldn't do, plus a little bit of Starfleet with Rachel in there, but that is still Star Trek, then this is the movie for you. It's great. It's a movie. We get in and out, and we surprise a lot of people with it, and then we keep it moving. So I'm really hoping you enjoy it.
So our absent center today is, of course, Michelle. We've talked about her to an extent. Sure. Can you tell me a little bit about about shooting scenes with her, about trading notes, about developing your characters together? Tell me about working with her as a scene partner.
So I guess day one, as Rob says, no egos were brought on this project, and his humility and modesty showed up in Rob showing up for us day one. So day one of work, scene one, Alex Kurtzman and Olatunde gave us such a great lob. It was just a nice, simple day of work between myself and Michelle, and Rob joined. He came on set day one.
And it was both of us.
Kacey was there as well, to be able to just kind of support. And what I learned immediately was just the generosity to your question. Just super generous, wants everything to go in a direction of North Star and not negative or downward. She wants everything to go that way. Super proficient, obviously very athletic, to Kacey's point, very balletic, and a genius at what she does. And so for me and her, it was talking about each other's backstory, maybe trying to help each other create the Giorgio now, because she's already existed in Discovery. Alok is brand new. So she was very, very helpful, along with the informative Rob in terms of the history of Trek. She was super aiding in me understanding who Alok was, because our characters are damn near the flip side of the same coin. It's a total game, recognized game, avatar moment of I see you, you see me, and so it was amazing. It was amazing to be able to take the roller coaster ride on a film to this point that Toonie made, where you're not held within the parameters of Star Trek, traditional Star Trek, but you can kind of get left and right and dance a bit. She was an incredible dance partner. She's a generous, beautiful giant.
I think what I'd like to contribute to is that she pulls everybody up. Like, she demands such excellence from herself, and I think everybody being in her orbit accesses their own excellence and delivers, and not from a place of fear, from a place of like joy and a love of what we get to do. Like, we're all living our dream jobs, and so I think I really experienced that. There's no part of her that is ever phoning it in or is ever like, I don't really want to be here, but I'm here. Like, she's stoked. She's absolutely stoked. And
a
so,
lot of laughter, always.
And just goofiness, right? So it frees us all up in a different way, and it becomes playful, you know? I think she encourages that in us all. Would you say? Would you agree?
I couldn't agree more. Yeah, it's special having worked with her over several years now, and seeing that she's the exact same person. The way we started, she's gone off, done other projects, come back, same person, gone off, won an Oscar, came back, same person.
Won an Oscar?
Right?
Yeah, she did. You know, it was kind of one of those things that, and so generous is the right word.
I found her intimidating. I did. I mean, I got on set and I was like, it's Michelle. Well, actually, in my head, I was like, that's Philippa Georgiou. And I was like, you know, whenever you're working with a legend, there is a kind of thing of like, I should go over and introduce myself and build a relationship and like get to know this person. And I go over there and she was so silly. Just having the nicest time. And she cared. The thing that I loved most about the working with her, not necessarily her as a person, she's wonderful as a human being, was that she loves Star Trek as much as I do. And she really cared about getting the show to be as good as it could possibly be, and wanted every scene to be as good as it possibly be, for no other reason than servicing the character of Philippa Georgiou and making Section 31 something really, really special. And because she cared so much, it made me, as not just the actor, but as the fan, really, really happy that she was there every day.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having us.
I can't
Thank
wait
you.
to see the film.
The what?
The movie. I'm calling it a show. Section 31 will be streaming on Paramount Plus.
You're a bad bitch.
We can't trust you with our lives, but here we go.
Somebody's got to keep it lively.